But I get it that, look, people, you have to understand something. Your Islam is for you. Okay. If somebody asks you, share it. Otherwise, trying to instruct fatwa and teaching, like imposing sharia on people, telling them this is the hukam, it is haram for a person who is not trained in Islam to be doing that. You cannot do that, just as you cannot go around advising medicine. Now, you can't, somebody may say, well, I can advise the basic things. You see, and I think the key thing there is two things. Advise. Sure, you can advise as a layperson something like saying, hey, I've heard this. Maybe it's like if, let's say something happened and I went to a doctor and he gave me some antibiotics, and now my mate asked, and I said, well, I had something like this happen to me. I took this and I took these vitamins and I took this. And now that's just a suggestion. You can do that in Islam. But you're not allowed to instruct. You're not allowed to teach. Okay. You can teach, sure, to those people like your own children or who you have a responsibility, but to be able to teach them, it's really an obligation for you to have learned. And if you are not learning and you're just worried about teaching, and you may say, well, I've learned from my sheikh. Sure. But the other person doesn't follow your sheikh. Your learning isn't to teach. Your learning is to learn. Yet, once you've learned, go with it. A few decades at least, go with it. What's the rush? It's faith. Your commitment to God shouldn't be so light that, you think you've fathomed the entity of this deen overnight. It's not. The deen is much deeper than that. As the Quran says, Inna sanulqi alayka qawlan thaqila. This is, it's a qawlun thaqil. It's not something to be taken lightly. But yeah, but I think one can admire the enthusiasm, but there's no place for this panopticon. This where people are trying to judge each other. There's no place for this. Not in my world, and not in, I wouldn't advise people to really be a part of those circles and to even put up with things like that. So yeah, because it is clearly haram. Clearly, something, if a person is teaching, as in imposing the ahkam of Islam onto another person, and they are not an alim of Islam, that means they have never even in their whole lives read the entire Quran with meaning. They have never studied hadith, at least the major books of hadith, some of them. They've never studied usul hadith. They've never studied the books of fiqh and sharia. They've never studied usul al-sharia. They've never studied usul al-tafsir. They've never studied aqaid, that even to an intermediate level with all the ikhtilafat. They've never studied maqasid al-sharia. They've never studied these things about Islam. Then for them to be instructing, suggesting is, you see, your suggestions are neither here, and it's like me suggesting medicine. Not really my place to do so, but if I said it to a friend, it's neither here, neither there. If I said, yeah, well, I took this antibiotic and it worked, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But it's not, I can't instruct them. I can't say, go do this. That's not, and if I do, that's with great, irresponsibility, because there would be harm. And similarly with Islam. And it's funny that Islam is the one thing that, people treat lightly. They think it's so easy. They think it's that light that they would never do that in other issues, and they feel they could do that in Islam. It's a disservice to Allah and His Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the truth is that if Islam makes you a person that just wants to judge others, then in all honesty, you haven't found the true meaning of Islam yet. That somebody said something about da'wah in one of the comments, and sure, as the ulama say, that kunu du'atan la qudatan, that if you want to call towards something, calling is not the same as passing judgment. See, I can invite you. A da'wah is inviting. I can invite you to have food at my place. It's the same word, isn't it? Da'wah, in that sense, that I could invite you to something. I could say, hey, I invite you to this. That's not the same as judgment is qada, to pass a judgment on something. And right, and that is something which is clearly haram in Islam if you are not qualified. But it's, once again, it's treated lightly, for fine. It's not. Yeah. Somebody, Claire said, shots fired. No shots fired. There's then don't. Right, the phenomenon might be the misuse of Amr bil Ma'ruf. Yeah, it could be, but it's not the misuse. It's just people who don't have. You see, people don't have. People don't have. You see, it actually ties in very well to the theme of your adventure awaits you. That these people don't have an adventure of life in life. So it's that they want something. So now, okay, they start praying and becoming, let's say they start becoming practicing Muslims, and that's wonderful. You think that's got to be one of the most amazing blessings. Surely you're going to be somebody really happy now. You're going to be smiling and you're going to go around just helping people because you've connected, you're developing your connection with God. And you're going to be contemplating and you're going to be just this better version of you. But no, become miserable, become toxic, become judgmental, and in fact self-righteous, that I'm better than other people. Because why? Because I pray. I'm better than these people. You pray, you don't pray. You don't dress this way. You don't do hijab. I'm better than you. You don't keep a beard this way. I'm better than you. Yeah, such a person, you just tell them that you are better than us. Allah bless you. May Allah keep you always better than us. Ameen. Such people, it's, it hurts to see such people because they're suffering intolerable agony. And yet they're so close to the light and they can't see it. See, because the irony is they found religion and yet they missed it. Ya Salah. Allah. The hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, he warned of a certain people. He said that beware these people that were referred to as the Khawarij. He said, beware these people that when they come, he said that they will judge you. He said that they will judge you that you don't pray as well as them. That your salah will be nothing compared to them. They will often pray. He said your actions will seem so, as in your religiosity will seem so small compared to this. They will often be reciting the Quran and doing all this. You'll see them in big beards and big things and all this very the attire. And the Prophet said, and they will often be reciting the Quran, and yet it will not go down beyond the kind of jugular vein. Meaning that it's only just a voice. It doesn't reach their hearts. And the Prophet said, and they will miss the deen, how like an arrow, kama yamruqul sahm min ar-ramiyya, the way an arrow misses its target. Despite being so close to it. Maze ki baat. It's like they've, but yeah, may Allah guide them and help them. Ameen. Sure, say, Masih and Muslim are concerned for the better proof that we are on the right side of humanity. Yeah, I think if a person, just do your your thing in helping people. And do that a person will know. A person will know if they are, when you're doing something good, you will feel it. It will prosper. As Allah says in the Quran that وَأَمَّا مَا يَنْفَعُ النَّاسِ فَيَمْكُثُ فِي الْأَرْضِ. It will prosper in the earth.